Are you constantly stressed at work? Do you struggle to connect with your boss or colleagues, no matter how hard you try to be professional? Maybe it's not your job that's the problem. Maybe it's something far more personal, your attachment style. The corporate world is often viewed as a space of logic, performance, and hard skill. But beneath the surface of office politics, missed deadlines, and team meetings lies a silent force shaping everything you do, from the projects you take on to the way you interpret a passive-aggressive email. That force, the emotional blueprint you unconsciously carry into every relationship, even the professional ones. Attachment style is not just about love or intimacy, it's about how you relate to people, to tasks, to yourself in moments of stress. And while it's often discussed in the context of romantic relationships, its influence reaches much further into your professional life, shaping how you handle criticism, seek validation, navigate hierarchy, or build trust on a team. So, what exactly is an attachment style? At its core, your attachment style is a psychological pattern, a way of relating to others that was wired into you in childhood. Based on how your early caregivers responded to your needs, you learned either to trust others or to fear them, to reach out in closeness or to retreat into self-reliance. These strategies, once adaptive for survival, become the invisible scripts you follow well into adulthood, including in your career. Psychologists generally categorize attachment into 4 primary styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, and fearful avoidant, also called disorganized. Each one represents a different way of perceiving connection, support, and safety, and each one leaves its unique fingerprint on your professional behavior. A person with a secure attachment style is generally confident in their worth and able to trust others without becoming overly dependent. In a workplace, this might look like someone who's comfortable collaborating, setting boundaries, and taking constructive criticism without collapsing into shame or defensiveness. They know how to lead, but they also know how to listen. The anxiously attached individual, on the other hand, might seek reassurance constantly. They crave approval and fear disconnection. At work, this can translate into a kind of chronic overfunctioning, staying late to prove worth, reading too much into a manager's neutral tone, or people-pleasing at the cost of personal needs. They may work hard, sometimes too hard, not out of inspiration, but fear of being unloved or unseen. Then, there's the avoidant attachment style, marked by a deep desire for independence and a discomfort with emotional closeness. Avoidantly attached, individuals may pride themselves on self-sufficiency, but that same armor can make teamwork difficult. They may resist feedback, deflect vulnerability, or appear distant in moments that require connection. Their autonomy is a strength, but it can also isolate them. Finally, the fearful avoidant, or disorganized style, combines traits of both anxious and avoidant types, often due to inconsistent caregiving or trauma. These individuals long for connection, but fear it at the same time. In professional settings, they may swing between over-engagement and total withdrawal. Leadership roles might feel overwhelming. Team dynamics can trigger deep internal confusion. It's not that they're incapable, but their inner world is often chaotic, and that chaos spills into their career path. Understanding your attachment style isn't about placing blame. It's about becoming conscious of the lens you're looking through, especially in places where you think you're being rational, because no matter how logical your job description is, you bring your emotional history to the desk with you every morning. In the next section, we'll explore how these attachment styles don't just shape your relationships with people at work, but also the career paths you choose, the risks you take, and the ways you define success itself. We rarely think of the office as an emotional playground, but it is. Every meeting, every feedback session, every team collaboration, it's all soaked in subtle emotional cues, and your attachment style determines how you read, react to, and navigate those cues. If you've got a secure attachment style, you tend to show up in the workplace with ease. You're comfortable asking for help when you need it, but you're also not afraid to work independently. You trust your colleagues, not blindly, but generously. You assume good intent, and because of that, you often earn that same trust in return. You're seen as stable, grounded, emotionally intelligent, and in a work environment, that's gold. But for others, the story isn't so smooth. If your attachment style leans toward anxious, you may find yourself hyper-aware of your coworkers' opinions, A manager's silence might feel like a personal rejection. A colleague's distracted tone might spiral into days of self-doubt. You want to be liked, needed, affirmed, so you might overextend yourself. You volunteer for extra work, not just to be helpful, but to prove your worth. And in doing so, you often blur the lines between healthy commitment and emotional overinvestment. It's not about being weak. It's about a nervous system that was trained early on to equate love with performance. Then there's the avoidant attachment style, the professional lone wolves. These individuals often keep emotional distance at work. They value autonomy, independence, space, which can be a strength, especially in roles that reward self-direction. But when emotional connection is required, like managing a team, giving vulnerable feedback, or navigating interpersonal tension, they can shut down. Not because they don't care, but because closeness feels overwhelming. Their walls weren't built out of ego, but out of early experiences that taught them to protect their inner world at all costs. And finally, there's the fearful avoidance style, also known as disorganized attachment. This group often experiences a push-pull dynamic. They want connection, but fear it. They crave feedback, but fear criticism. In the workplace, this can create a confusing pattern, overcommitting 1 week, emotionally withdrawing the next. This inconsistency can confuse colleagues and managers alike, and worse, it can sabotage the person's own growth because they're trapped in an internal war. Desire versus fear, engagement versus retreat. So how does all this affect your actual day-to-day experience at work? Let's talk about feedback, a cornerstone of growth in any career. A securely attached person can hear constructive criticism and, while they may feel discomfort, they don't spiral. They reflect, they adjust, they stay present. But someone with an anxious attachment style might hear the same feedback and immediately panic. Am I not good enough? Are they going to fire me? Their self-worth gets wrapped around every word. Conversely, an avoidantly attached person might reject feedback entirely, not because they think they're perfect, but because vulnerability feels unsafe. Admitting a mistake threatens the illusion of control, and for them, control often equals safety. Then there's teamwork. In group dynamics, securely attached people are often natural collaborators. They share ideas without fear of judgment. They give credit where it's due. They don't need to dominate, but they don't disappear either. But an anxiously attached team member might constantly seek reassurance. Was my idea okay? Did I do this right? And if they feel ignored or sidelined, they might personalize it and stew in quiet resentment. Meanwhile, an avoidantly attached teammate might withhold ideas altogether, not because they lack creativity, but because contribution feels like exposure, vulnerability, risk. Even office politics, those unspoken dynamics of power, loyalty, and perception, are shaped by attachment. A securely attached person might be able to navigate it with a clear sense of boundaries, but someone with anxious attachment might get overly entangled, trying to please everyone, losing their own voice in the process. And someone avoidant might ignore politics completely, to their own detriment, misreading alliances, or missing opportunities for advancement. This isn't about blaming your childhood for your career struggles. It's about understanding the map you were handed and deciding whether it's still serving you. Because once you recognize the patterns, you can change how you respond to them. Maybe you realize that you over-apologize at work, that you shrink yourself in meetings, or that you push people away when you actually want to connect. These aren't flaws, they're adaptations, outdated survival strategies, but they can be unlearned. It starts with awareness, catching the story before it runs your behavior. I'm not being rejected. My manager might just be busy. I'm not weak for asking a question. I'm human. I don't have to handle everything alone. Collaboration doesn't make me less capable. Understanding your attachment style isn't a final answer. It's an invitation to bring more compassion into the workplace, toward others, and toward yourself. Because your emotional habits don't just live in your personal life, they show up in your career, your collaborations, your confidence, your leadership. And when you start doing the work, not just the outer work of emails and meetings and deadlines, but the inner work of emotional growth, your professional life begins to shift. You become someone others trust, respect, want to work with. But more importantly, you become someone you trust. And that changes everything. The good news is this: your attachment style is not a life sentence. It's a pattern, and patterns can be changed. The first step is awareness. Knowing how your attachment style shows up in your work life. Are you constantly second-guessing yourself after meetings, replaying every word for signs of rejection? You might be working through anxious attachment. Do you avoid asking for help, fearing it will make you look weak or dependent? That could be avoidant attachment. Do you feel like you crave connection, but also fear being judged or overwhelmed by it? You may be dealing with a fearful avoidant style. Identifying your attachment style doesn't mean labeling yourself with another problem to fix. It means recognizing the lens you've been looking through, the unconscious template shaping your behavior, your expectations, and even your goals. Once you see the lens, you can start to choose when to use it and when to take it off. There are tools that can help. Self-assessment questionnaires, journaling prompts, or even simply reflecting on your relationships at work, who you trust, who you avoid, how you respond to criticism or praise. These small observations can be profound, because once you start seeing your patterns, you're no longer trapped by them. If your attachment style tends to be anxious, the work may be in learning to self-soothe, to recognize that your worth is not determined by your last performance review, or whether your boss replies with a smiley face. It means building an internal sense of security, so your identity doesn't rise and fall with every piece of feedback. If you lean toward avoidant attachment, the challenge might be in softening, allowing yourself to depend on others without feeling like you're losing autonomy. It could mean asking for input, sharing more openly, or simply staying in a conversation that feels emotionally vulnerable instead of retreating into silence. For those with fearful avoidant patterns, those who swing between craving closeness and fearing it, the path forward often starts with safety, not in trying to change everything at once, but in creating small, consistent spaces where you can show up fully without fear of being abandoned or engulfed. That could be a mentor you trust, a work friend who understands you, or even a therapist who helps you unpack old relational wounds. Of course, the goal isn't to become a perfectly secure person overnight. It's to begin integrating more secure behaviors into your daily life, setting healthy boundaries, giving yourself grace after setbacks, reframing your self-worth as something internal, not constantly outsourced to others' opinions. And this transformation doesn't just change how you feel at work, it changes the work you're drawn to. When you heal your attachment patterns, you might notice your ambitions shift. You no longer chase jobs to prove your value. You seek roles that align with your values. You're no longer pulled toward toxic work cultures because they feel familiar. You start choosing environments that are genuinely supportive. This ripple effect, from attachment to identity to career, is powerful, and it's why this journey matters, because the most successful careers aren't built on fear of rejection, or hunger for approval, or a compulsive need to stay in control. They're built on wholeness, on knowing who you are, what you bring, and how you want to grow, not just professionally, but personally. The workplace isn't separate from your inner world, it reflects it. And if you want to thrive in your career, don't just ask, "What job should I do?" or "How can I get ahead?" Ask instead, "How do I relate to others? Where do I feel safe? What part of me still believes I need to earn love?" Your career isn't just a ladder to climb, it's a mirror, showing you the parts of yourself that are still waiting to be understood, held, and healed.